Thank you so much, Stacy, for agreeing to be on The Roots of the Spirit. I'm so very honored. And I just learned this is your first on-air interview.
My first on-air interview, and it couldn't happen with anyone better. I'm really excited.
Thank you so much. I'm like super excited. And thank you and Isaiah for welcoming us into your gorgeous home.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome.
So you are a wardrobe stylist who has worked with Tyson Beckford, Q-Tip, Nas, Pusha T, Hezekiah Walker, and so many others.
Yeah.
Just upon the first time that I met you, you just have such a beautiful aura and spirit. And so I know you bring your whole self and so much love to your work. But I wanted to get a little bit of background before we dive into the work that you do and the service that you provide. You were born in Barbados and you came to the U.S. at an early age. And when did you discover your calling?
I would say I discovered my calling maybe, I'd say somewhere between 5 and 6 years ago, during the process of being a wardrobe stylist. You know, wardrobe styling is my dream, it's my passion, but I feel like my calling is to help people in various mediums, and that became apparent through wardrobe styling and some of those interactions, that, you know, there's something bigger that I'm working toward. I was born in Barbados, came up here when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, which probably makes me Jamaican. But I went to school. I went to all my schools were in Brooklyn, and growing up in Flatbush, it's really amazing because you grow up with so many different cultures. So I grew up around Trinidadians, Haitians, everyone, and there's something about growing up in Flatbush. It just really opens your mind because you deal with so many different types of people. So I've always had an appreciation for all cultures.
Did you go to school here?
Yeah, I went to school here, elementary, junior high school, college. Everything was in Brooklyn. Well, college was in Manhattan, but everything else was in Brooklyn. Yeah.
So, at a young age, were you aware of, you know, style or fashion or decorating oneself or colors? Was anything attractive to you at an early age?
At a young age, I was attracted to things that I couldn't afford, and I had to be creative, and that has led into what I do now. I didn't realize it back then, but you know, it's like growing up in Brooklyn, you see people with all the name brand clothes and all these different things, and you know, I couldn't afford that, so I just had to figure out creative ways to put stuff together. And it's really interesting looking back that was the start to me being a wardrobe stylist and a costume designer.
I realized I missed something huge, which is so inspiring and interesting to me, is how you got your start working at H&M.
Yeah.
And then you transitioned to your own, do you call it a company or your own?
Yeah, I'd say my own company, yeah. H&M was such an amazing experience. It really opened my mind up to a whole new world. Starting as a sales associate, it was back in 2000. They sent us to Norway for 3 weeks.
Wow.
I was in Norway for 3 weeks. I made so many friends. I still keep in contact with them to this day. And the thing about H&M is they really inspired a culture in us. A culture of giving, a culture of serving. It's very interesting for a retail store to really care about people the way they cared about us. So I was working on the sales floor for a few months, and one of the women from the Finland team who was working in the stores, she gave me an opportunity to try out for the window team, where we were dressing mannequins and everything. So I was on trial for maybe a month or 2, I don't remember how long it was, and then I became a member of the window team at H&M's 5th Avenue store from there, I was there for maybe a year or so. And then from there, I went to the Brooklyn store. After that, I had all my own stores where I was the head of window display, or the only one doing window display. And it was a super awesome opportunity. And I always say this, somebody else saw something in me, and they helped they helped me to see it, and they helped to nurture it. And then that opened up so many doors. That's how I am. That's how I got to where I am today.
That's so powerful. So as a wardrobe stylist, I've read that your motto is personalize your product, personalize your passion.
Yes.
Tell us about your product and tell us about your passion.
My product, Divine Styling International, my thing behind that is like humility, humanity, fashion. And the term fashion, it's not fashion is what we think, like clothing, it's fashion in terms of the way you do something. So it's doing it with humility, doing it with humanity. So my brand is really about the energetic exchange that I have with whoever it is that I work with. I'm very big on addressing the inside and dressing the outside. I think in today's society, everyone is so busy wanting to impress people with what they have and how they look, and then inside we're torn, we're broken, we're hurting. And we're all, a lot of us, we're going through the same things, and we put up these facades. I kind of like to break through the facade. I have a little bit more experience with that when I get to work with someone one-on-one in terms of like personal styling. And then, when I work with actors or people for music videos or whatever, I'm creating characters. Mm-hmm. But still, even in that experience, even in that energetic exchange, I just try to be a mirror and just kind of reflect to people some of what I see in them. If that makes any sense.
Totally makes sense. So can you talk a little bit about, your process and who you've worked with and what type of events or movies, videos you've worked on?
Oh man, I've worked on all types of music videos: heavy metal, gospel, hip hop, club, everything. Some of the people that I've worked with, in terms of the music videos, they're not necessarily consistent clients, but like you mentioned, Tyson Beckford, I was working on a music video, and I had the information, and then the day before I found out that's who it was that I was working with. So a lot of things I'll find out last minute, who the talent is or whatever. But I have I've worked on 2 feature films. One that's out right now, Advantageous. It did really well at Sundance. It won the Special Jury Award. It's actually having its New York premiere, theatrical release tonight. Tonight.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
Tonight at a Cinema Village.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really, really excited about that. And then I have another feature that I've worked on entitled Woven. It's an Ethiopian-American story, and it's all about how connected we really are. So I love projects that speak to a bigger picture. In the past month or two, I started coming up with a curriculum, kind of. I did career day at my sister's school, and that was the most amazing experience of my life to date. The kindergarten class, it was at a Brooklyn Landmark, and these kids, they were hanging on to every single word that I said, and they were looking at me, and I just wanted to give them so much. And then I also got really sad because somewhere there's whether it's images that they're seeing or people telling them, someone's telling them they're not going to make it, and that really, really touched me. And after I was at the school, they sent me letters telling me that they wanted to be wardrobe stylists when they grow up, and they liked my style and all these different things. And I realized I have to create something for them. You know, so Divine Styling International, that's not just going to be here for a year or 2 or 3. I'm really trying to set up something where it's like I leave a legacy. And when these kids grow up, 20 years from now, that they can do what I'm doing because I've set up this platform for them.
That's powerful. That's amazing.
I love those kids.
What has your experience been as a woman of color founding your own company, Divine Styling?
You know what? As it's an interesting question. Because I had no formal experience in what it is that I do. Like, yeah, I got the experience from H&M, but I didn't go to school or do any of that stuff to become a stylist. But I knew that, or I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So in my mind, I don't really allow roadblocks or thinking I can't get this or I can't do that. But as a woman of color, something that was important to me was not being placed in a box. That I think is one of the most important things for me. I wanted to remain diverse, and I will continue to remain diverse.
I just thought it was so beautiful when you talked about going to the school.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know from my experience as a little kid, I did not have examples. I mean, even if you think about career paths, it was doctor, lawyer, dentist, very limited.
Yeah.
Nobody came and talked about being a stylist, let alone nobody of color showed up in my classroom. So how important that is for kids.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that you just shifted my perspective on the question a bit. And something that struck me is when I was looking at all these little kids, I saw myself. I saw myself in all of these little kids, and they would not take their eyes off of me, and I was just like, wow, all of this just natural goodness, all of this ambition, all of this energy that these kids have. And the same thing, I don't remember really if I was like that in kindergarten. I don't remember anyone coming to my school for career day that looked like me, that had a fun job. Like you said, everyone's a doctor or a lawyer, or, props to the doctors and lawyers. You guys are needed. I love y'all. But, I didn't have anyone that looked like me. And that kind of made me realize, and this was 2-3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that made me realize even more the power that I have as a woman of color to inspire, especially the youth.
And the last question, which is the signature question of the show. Stacey Jordan, what are the roots of your spirit?
Wow. What are the roots of my spirit? The roots of my spirit are faith, patience, flexibility, and struggle and triumph.
That's wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.